If you struggle to figure out what's next for you in life, I'll give you 3 high-level steps that can help you bring more direction and clarity to this journey. So the first step is one that most people either avoid or skip altogether, but it's actually the most important one, which is to actually accept this state of I don't know, this not knowing state. Because so often when we are at such a point where we don't know what's next for us, what do? We judge ourselves. The problem is that this judgment about you not knowing what you want to do next is actually what keeps you stuck. Because that self-judgment leads to even more shame and anxiety and stress and pressure, which is the opposite of what you actually need in order to figure out what is next for you. It puts you into a fear-based mindset from which the solution cannot arise. So in other words, what often keeps us stuck the most is our judgment about being stuck. And so we first have to bring some level of acceptance to this, which means to release our resistance against currently being stuck or not knowing what's next for us, which creates a sense of relief and opens the space for the answer and what's next to emerge. So breathe. You're a spark of the divine. Don't forget that. The second step is to get to know yourself better through self-exploration. To take intentional time to reconnect to your true and authentic self, which includes gaining clarity on your core values, your gifts, what energizes you, what matters to you, what problems you care about, your inner wisdom in terms of the experiences you went through in life and that helped you learn certain things. The point here is not to do this self-exploration with an expectation of trying to figure out exactly what is next, what is that next path, what is my purpose. We cannot find those answers on the mental level anyway. Now, the point of the self-exploration is to have a foundation from which you can begin to make more aligned and intentional choices in your life, which leads to the third step, which is exploration and experimenting. So this is where you want to translate those insights into action steps. And it's not so much about deciding on one path immediately unless you feel very confident and clear about that, but more about giving yourself the space and permission to explore different options and paths. Because clarity doesn't just come from thinking about it, it comes mainly from taking action. And we need to give ourselves that space and the freedom to take those action steps. And this is where our limiting beliefs, our fears, our self-doubt, our insecurities tend to show up, which can paralyze us because we are stuck in perfectionism, in trying to get something right, in feeling cringe and embarrassed about being a beginner at something. So this is where the inner work becomes so important.